30 odd years ago, we had Revathi under the influence of a spirit in Ram Gopal Varma's Raat. She was brilliant in the film, and even today when we talk about Indian horror films, we remember Raat and the nerve-chilling sequences it had to offer. And yet there's no denying that the appeal and grammar of the horror films have changed a lot in the interim, and Raat would appear old-school horror to anyone watching it for the first time today. And what can be more interesting than having the same Revathi in a new film that works so well in the context of the contemporary horror narratives, built upon anxiety, atmosphere, and ambiguities. Bhoothakaalam, now streaming on Sony Liv, is a top-notch work that will fit into a list of best Indian horror movies, a list that's unfortunately not too long. Of course, you can check our list in the link provided in the description. And once again, it's Malayalam cinema giving the first worthwhile movie experience of the year. And here we are today to talk about Bhoothakaalam, the new film by Rahul Sadasivan. So, as we were saying a minute back, the horror genre has undergone very interesting changes in the last few years across the world. And one of the standout changes is how the horror residing in haunted houses of gothic fantasy has moved to urban or suburban homes that are a part of our domestic identity, and also places which are full of memories and artifacts of the past. It's also in the idea of fear where the change has happened. And this is interesting. While horror was limited to supernatural stories only a few years back, today it also relates to much more. From the psychological trauma to civil wars, anything that is repulsed by the human spirit. Bhoothakaalam is one clever and ambitious film that embraces both these contemporary tropes into one film, and yet doesn't let go the charm of the old school motifs. The house where we see Asha and her son Vinu might well be a haunted house, or the horrors might just be oozing out of the cracks of their broken home. All I have is a phone and a bike, a frustrated Vinu says to his mother during one of their regular fights. What can be more horrific when a young guy with a girlfriend and his mother alive thinks that way? And then if you think hard, this might be the reality of so many youngsters around us. Bhoothakaalam leaves many such cues along its 100-minute runtime. These days, no one cares about human sentiments, we hear someone say in an interview. You calling me only when you are in the mood won't work. You better look for another girl if this happens again, Vinu's girlfriend says. These are passing comments, otherwise not adding to the narrative, but maybe if you think through, they come across as horrors of our present-day living, signatures of our contemporary lifestyle. And the best part of the film is that it never points us at any of them but spreads around to interpret as we want. We are never sure what led to the toxicity between the mother and the son. Is it Asha's frustration and anger towards her late husband, and Vinu is paying the price for that baggage of the past? Or is it her pushing Vinu for MBBS, perhaps against his wishes, that has broken Vinu's trust in his mother? Or maybe it's something else that the film doesn't care to invest on, because whatever it is, it eventually leads to Asha to psychiatric counseling and living on multiple medicines. And as for Vinu, he feels the most disturbed and shackled inside his own home in the proximity of his own mother. A combination that is supposed to be the safest abode for any human being. And then, when you are almost sure that the film is about psychological trepidations, you move into the spine-chilling climax that takes your breath away and makes you question what you have been watching this far. Opinions will start differing at this stage, and the multiple interpretations only add to the lyrical quality of the film. Cinematographer Shahnaz Jalal is brilliant to say the least. The way he uses light and shadows and utilizes the objects and empty spaces inside the house to give a character of its own is amazing. The film starts with a shot of a room in dark, with the curtains of a partition door in the middle of the frame gently fluttering. We watch this frame in anticipation and then find a silhouette of a human body slowly advancing towards us. It is Valsala Menon as the old grandmother in an excellent cameo. We actually see her in the initial few scenes, that too without dialogues, but it's her presence that is carried across the entire film. This same shot of the same room comes back in the film more than once later, but keeps changing in the allure and the intrigue. And it's this presence of what is not visible and the anticipation of what might be visible anytime that keeps us hooked in the film, as suspense, when rightly done, is expected to be. And in doing all that, director Rahul Sadasivan extracts pure visual storytelling from his cast and crew, and that gives the film its desired depth and appeal, something key to any genuine horror classic. And what do we say about the chemistry between Revathi and Shane Nigam? They elevate the film even further. Revathi is marvelous as Asha, the unfamiliar mother. Her distractions, passive aggressions almost override her motherly presence. But it's the subtle intricacies of the veteran actor's performance that strike the balance between both sides of a character. Shane Nigam is superb as the lost son. Look out for his scene with Saiju Kurup, the counselor, as Shane asks him to leave. His confused state, trying to hold back to his senses without much confidence, are pretty unsettling. And later, in a booze party with his friends, when he lets himself go, it's a sheer treat on screen. Such a pleasure to watch a young talent shine in a deceptively difficult screenplay that he makes so relatable. And it's this relatability to our own lives that Bhoothakaalam thrives on, like the best horrors of our times. The phenomena of horror brought up close inside home kind of hits everyone hard, as that's the place that we all expect as our safe refuge. Whatever our logical sense might say, there's a tangible fear once a house is tainted with trauma. We consider our homes as receptors, as they are closely connected with our daily lives and are images of our existence, memories and families. So when there is a violation of the home, it carries a special fear that Bhoothakaalam brilliantly exploits. We hear Venu mention that he is worried about the next family which would be living in the house, as this violation he still carries in his heart, like so many other baggage of the past that continue to haunt him and his mother. The horror continues as perhaps suggested by the final frames of Bhoothakaalam, as we realize that the ghosts are already there residing within us, in our ideas and memories, and what we fear is as much inside ourselves as it is outside. That is all from us today. If you like this essay, please subscribe to our channel and share our content with fellow cine enthusiasts so that we can continue to bring you more content like this. Thank you for watching.